We spent some long nights, early mornings at the mothership. How many years were you at ESPN?
12 years. The key is you went long nights, early mornings, but there was no sleep in between the two.
No, there was not.
Hey,
Nope.
yeah, it's good to be on with you, man.
You look great.
Dan, I feel awesome, and of all the things, of all those years we did it together, I think I miss this group more than anything, and the laughs and the bend-over laughs and the topper laughs that we've it's been too long, buddy. Thanks.
I don't even know where to start with you.
Anywhere, anywhere you want.
Yeah?
Just keep the cell phone out of it.
Okay. But how often are you asked about that?
A lot. I mean, for the first 6, 7, 8 years. And when you're embarrassed about a mistake and you go through that difficult time and hit rock bottom and don't know how to handle it because I'd never been there before. And I didn't handle it well at first, but then you start to realize that, you know what? I didn't lose my skill set. I made a mistake. You can move on. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't put anybody in jail. I hurt myself. But no, now it's you move on. You're into another part of your career. And I'll tell you, Dan, it was the greatest lesson of my life, and I feel great. And I may not look good, but I sure feel good, man.
What was the worst part of it?
Embarrassment. I became reclusive for about 5 years. And you and I were, we've been great friends for so long. When you disappear from your friends and you feel like you hear whispers, and I made a bigger mountain out of a molehill than was. And, you start to give yourself a little too much credit, saying, man, does everybody know this? You walk into a bar, order food, and they say, you want a cheeseburger? Were you the guy? So that was, and just, not doing what you love to do and having to explain yourself. And then when you get out of that mode and say, move on, it's not that big a deal, but it was at the time. And then, Dan, I hit rock bottom, and rock bottom for a while for me was quicksand, not a trampoline, but I feel so much better now, and I feel great, and so good to be back. And this better not be the last time I'm on your show.
No, but we were nervous to have you on because I had to broach the topic because it's part of your story.
Of course it is.
And leaving ESPN and then sort of going into hiding or whatever it was.
That's what it was.
And you know me long enough that I have to ask these questions because it's part of the story. It's not the story.
If you didn't, you wouldn't be doing what makes you the best in the business. And better this than saying, Sean, remember that time you dropped back and threw a post route right into the other guy's hand? I did a lot of that too. So I hit rock bottom a lot on the field and off it. So no, but you know what? You learn those lessons, and being back doing this. And you mentioned the toughest thing, aside from, with your kids and the rest of it, but the road back, and then getting back. And there's still steps for me to take, but man, I prioritize, and I learned a lot, and I'll never take this gig for granted again in my life.
I saw you interviewed. You were driving a truck. Were you in your truck? And you said the toughest part was your kids. And you have college-age kids. They might be out of, some might be out of college.
One's out. One's just getting started, and one graduates from Texas A&M Gig'em in May. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, but that's the tough part because you're trying to explain to them, and now they're innocent bystanders, but they're involved in it.
Hey, was your dad the guy? Yes. Yeah. But now it's, you go through it, and when you reverse it, Dan, and then you got a story to tell that can maybe prevent somebody from doing something sophomoric, then it works. But heck, you know what? You go through it.
Well, we just saw this with the Lakers with D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
You think?
Yeah.
You think?
At age 20.
Yeah.
To have that.
He should have called me. I said, dude, don't push, do not push send or record. Don't be an idiot. So, but he's going to have a long time gaining trust back. He really is, Dan. You know this in those locker rooms.
Yeah.
Even if he scores 30 a game, a long road back.
He's Sean Salisbury joining us, Dan Patrick Show. There were so many times when we would just laugh so hard. Remember when you were doing my show with me? We had Rob Dibble doing it, and when we had Mickey Rivers on.
Dan, I'll tell you something, Dan. Yeah, the greatest thing about that, you're interviewing him, and Mickey comes on.
I can't understand him.
No, nobody can. And you look at me and say, well, we're going to have to cut this interview off. And he's such an exuberant guy, We talk, and I want to cry laughing now because I lost 12 pounds that day laughing. And so Dan says, Sean, we're going to have to cut it off. So Mick's going, and Dan says, well, Mickey, remember the time when Bucky used your bat? And I talked to Bucky, and Dan hits the tape, about a taped interview with Bucky Dent. Mickey's interviewing Bucky while the taped interview's going.
He thinks Bucky's there.
He thinks Bucky's sitting next to us. Hey, Bucky, remember? Yeah, man, we use that bat, man. Yeah, but... And so we're going through it, and Dan's looking at me like, well, he's interviewing Bucky, but Bucky's on tape. And he goes, we got to cut the interview off. So the tape plays, And then Dan looks at me, and Dan's about, well, Mickey, thanks. We appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your story. And I chime in and say, hey, Mickey, remember your relationship with Reggie Jackson? How was he in the dugout? And Dan,
I looked at you. And
Dan said, hit the 7-second delay button, looked at me like, what are you doing? And then he went on for 8 more minutes, and it pretty much interviewed Reggie Jackson
I think he thought Reggie was there too. But the fact that Bucky Dent hit the home run, the Yankees beat the Red Sox in 1978. He uses Mickey's bat and hits the home run there. And so when Bucky is telling me about using his bat, and there's Mickey going, Bucky, it's Mickey. And I'm going, oh, my God, he thinks it's a taped interview there. Oh, my God.
You see the team,
wait. Here.
So, you know, you
it was, dude, I've had more priceless moments.
One move, well, more or less to be just okay, guy.
Wait. Can you get Sean's headphones there, right behind there? We have Mickey Rivers here. I'm going to let you hear Mickey Rivers.
So what if I start interviewing Mickey now? Is he on?
Yes. So, all right, two-a-days. Hit this. This is 2004 Mickey Rivers from the Yankees.
You see the team, it's going to be a land. So, you know, you just went against a social big move. One move, well, more or less to be just okay, guy.
I don't know what he said.
Now, I want somebody, if you could translate that, I quit, retire, man.
But if you have closed caption on that, could you imagine the person who's got to do that on the screen?
He would come out like asterisk signs.
Yeah, who knows? Oh.
And so exuberant and such an energetic guy. I'm sitting here saying translation. But he was and Mickey knew he was talking to the world, too, man. Everybody got it. That was a fun time.
Didn't he get arrested? Or, no, Mickey...
Oh, nice segue, Dan.
No. Didn't Mickey go through a toll booth in New York on his phone?
Mickey was doing the interview, and he was on a toll booth, and the policeman at the toll booth said, you got to put your phone away. He goes, I want the phone with Mr. Steinbrenner. And he started to say that he was on the phone with Steinbrenner while he's on the phone with you.
So we had Dan, Sean, Mickey, Reggie, Bucky
George
and Mr. Steinbrenner on at the same time. And it actually sounded like it.
Yeah, that was great booking by Fritzy. Well done. Do you want to stick around, talk some football?
I'd love to.
We'll come back with Sean Salisbury.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.